This is Jackie, and I'm here with your all-access interview with Halsey on day 3 of Delaware's Firefly Festival. We chat a little bit off camera. We're both Jersey girls, and I feel like the Garden State gets a bad rep. What are some good things about New Jersey?
Well, Jack Antonoff from Bleachers and I are super defensive of New Jersey. I think you get the benefit of having all the seasons in one place. I think that it's a tremendous blend of rural areas, suburban areas, urban areas, and the best thing about New Jersey is that the way people treat that state is unlike any sort of state pride. New Jersey is like your little brother. You'll talk shit on it, but if someone else tries to, you're like, hold up. That's my little brother. And that's kind of how I feel about New Jersey.
That's the best metaphor I can think of. I'm gonna borrow that now from now on.
It's all yours.
Thank you. So what are some radio stations growing up in Jersey or living in New York that you tune to when you're home?
When I was a kid, I used to listen to Z100 a lot, but I lived closer to Pennsylvania and New Jersey for a while, so I listened to a lot of 104.5, which is Philly's alternative station, and it reached out to us. We didn't really have much alternative radio in New Jersey, so I was always driving back roads, trying to dial in to whatever.
So hard where we're from.
Yeah.
I think I grew up on 2 radio stations, so that's about it.
Princeton's radio station actually plays pretty good, alternative stuff, so...
Yeah. Nice, very nice. But describe your sound on your latest release, Badlands.
So Badlands comes out August 28th, and for me it's just a chance to explore a greater body of work. The sound's a little bit more industrial, it's a bit more raw, and I think that the EP, Room 93, was a midpoint, and I could have gone one way or the other. I could have written a traditional pop record, which I'm fully capable of doing, but instead I wanted to do something a little bit more interesting. So Badlands kind of dives into the science of sound. Because throughout the production, mixing, and mastering process, we attempted to create space with sound. So as if when you close your eyes, you can actually feel the parameters of the room around you, which is all about, putting instruments closer to your ears or further away in the mix. And for me, it was about creating a universe and making it so that people felt like they were actually being transported somewhere, to the best of ability that music can do. So creating space with sound was definitely a project, and I'm excited for everyone to experience it.
Very nice. Sounds definitely interesting. Definitely not the straightforward pop sound. How would you say that your sound has evolved since your Room 93 EP?
I think I just got a little bit more experimental. I started listening to a lot of underground electronic music, like future bass and PC music, and just stuff that's a little bit more offbeat but still embraces a pop mentality, which is kind of similar to how my stuff is. The music's a little less ethereal and a little less synth pop electro girl, and just a little bit more weird. There's urban elements, there's electronic elements. Some of the songs feel, kind of bare. Some of them feel incredibly cinematic. So I think that my sound has just evolved to something a little bit more well-rounded.
How'd you get your start playing music?
So I was a songwriter my whole life, but unofficially. I didn't really know I was. I had always drawn, I'd always written, I was always involved in artistic things, and I wanted to go to school for fine art. So being a musician was never my path. It was never, I wasn't that kid who was like, I'm going to do American Idol. That wasn't me. I didn't do theater. So when I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to a really good school for fine art, and financially it didn't work out. So I ended up at a community college, and, devastated and full of teen angst. In some sort of rebellious rage, I signed up as a creative writing major because I thought it would, be some sort of act of defiance. And it's ironic because it actually ended up forming my path. I wrote Ghost. It was the first song I ever wrote, ever recorded, and I put it online. And the next day I took meetings with 5 different record companies. So it's something as simple as SoundCloud. And, a lot of people say, oh, it's not that easy, it's not that easy. But if the stars align for you, it can be.
Amazing. And SoundCloud is, I guess you could call it a form of social media.
Absolutely.
How else do you use social media to connect with fans?
I think social media is one of the best and worst things that's ever happened to me because, it's created this concept of a global platform for music where, 20 years ago if an artist posted something, it posted something. I don't even know why I said that. If an artist had something to show or something to share, they had to travel the world and share it by mouth. And now if I post a photo tomorrow, a fan in China can wake up and see it. And I think that's incredible because it creates this global impact and this global sense of community within a fandom that people didn't really have before. And the cool thing about social media to me is that it's like kids having my name in their Twitter handle or having my picture as their icon is sort of the modern form of me putting a sticker on my binder or putting a band song on my MySpace page to show I repped them, you know? So it's kind of the modern day equivalent. I think social media gets a bad rap, but I owe a tremendous amount to it. And it's cool to talk to my fans in such an intimate way, to write to a girl in England and say, hey, the dress you wore to your mom's wedding looked awesome. And she's like, thank you. And that's a cool thing.
It's like your little stepsister.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, we can talk some smack, but that's about it. You played South by Southwest. We were there a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
What were some lessons that you learned from that circus, and how does that help you in festivals like this and onward?
Expect the unexpected, for sure. I actually didn't have too bad of a time, but there was a couple showcases where, you know, the sound wouldn't work and we'd be deaf on stage, so stuff would be coming out of my mouth and I would have no idea what it sounded like. So I had to trust myself as a vocalist, as a performer, to, you know, take control of the situation, and it was actually kind of liberating for me. It's cool playing to, like, a bunch of industry people who are like, oh, and then watching them loosen up, because it shows the power of yourself as a performer. And I'm on tour with Imagine Dragons right now. We're doing arenas all over the country, and the funny thing about doing arenas is that it's just a very big South by set. You play for 30 minutes, you play to thousands of people who have no idea who you are, you play to thousands of people who might not care who you are, and you have to convince them that they should be a part of what you're doing. So, you know, strangely enough, South by was my boot camp for an arena tour. And, yeah, I guess it worked out that way.
Very impressive. So you're on tour right now, you're about to release your album. What else is next after Firefly?
Oh gosh, well, I'm doing a couple more festivals this summer, and I'm finishing out the Imagine Dragons tour. Excited for the release of Badlands and to be headed overseas. I have a couple other things up my sleeve, venturing into a little bit more of a fashion world, more of an art world, more of a writing world. The problem with me is that I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So as much as music is my greatest passion, it's not my only one. So I'm constantly looking for other ways to vent my creative angst and therapy.
Perhaps that's something that happens when you grow up in New Jersey, is that you like to do a lot of different things. So stay tuned, a lot more from this Jersey girl, Halsey. This is Jackie. Thanks to All Access and In the Key of Change.